everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac. We still need the scissors. Is this correct? Page 3? Right here. No, unicorn stomp. That's what that is. I'm gonna have the whole friggin' collection page memorized by the time I get this item. Watch me get it in like our first item room now. 0.91 speed, terrible rate of fire, good damage, good luck. We start with Dead Sea Scrolls, KFDA, 4 ATs, and our damage is mostly good because of dark matter. I'll try it. I'm disappointed. Our damage is mostly good thanks to dark matter, but that's okay. We've been having I mean, not necessarily like a string of bad runs, but dude, like, some of these runs, especially with starting damage, starting rate of fire, have just been horrendous. Unicorn stuff, that's okay. This is, in its own unique way, a DPS upgrade. This is an item that actually, I've had an appreciation, I should say, for the item, even though I don't remember its name. Seraphim, that's it. I have an appreciation for this item, particularly on runs where your damage is horrendous. It's kind of like, I see it almost like a rotten baby that doesn't, or does it scale? I can't remember, but it's almost like a rotten baby in that it's not going to give you a win by itself. What was this? Deck of cards. Or sorry, that was a bottle of pills, actually. Then we got deck of cards right here. Pretty Fly's okay. Used to think it was very good. I think the more you get, the better it is, which is probably a pretty non-controversial opinion about just about anything on life short of, like, you know, pimples. Well, I guess there's anything bad, the more of it you get, the worse it would be, I suppose. Except in the game Hearts. I worry sometimes, you know, people talk about violent video games corrupting the nation's youth. Don't you worry sometimes about the seductive influence of Windows-based card games like Hearts? That game taught me that winning is important, but if you're losing, the only way to win is by losing in such an unbelievable trash fire that they have to reward you as a result of it. You ever shoot the moon in Hearts? I feel like that's the way some people approach their lives. It's like, well, if I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna lose as spectacularly as possible. Maybe pop out the other side with 26 points. Yo. Where is a bomb? I would prefer not... Oh. Crooked Penny. Okay. Okay. The thing is, like, Dead Sea Scrolls is kind of bad. So I'm willing to give this a shot. Fruitcake. Fruitcake is dangerous, but ultimately potentially okay. And, you know, if I was a little bit more of a rigorous Isaac player, I would do the thing that just happened, which was sit there until we get an effect that actually breaks the Tinted Rock. So, you know, we've had some not-so-amazing plays in Isaac lately. I have definitely made some mistakes. But, dude, that vindicates... That's like a week's worth of good plays in Isaac for me. So, I'm a very happy man right now. I would... Oh, we have a bomb already. Yeah, but, like, we can, for free, we could, you know, like, just... I don't want to spend forever doing this, but if you don't mind, if you could just... Ah, there we go. Okay, so this allows us to now do this, and we'll shoot here for a second, and it totally worked, and oh my god, we're looking alright. We could have also just tried to double them, but Crooked Penny's weird, like... There was a time where I loved this item. And who I'm talking about, y'all, is hip-hop. But those days have passed. Ever since it got nerfed. I know I won't say into oblivion, but, you know, the thing is, I don't know anything about game design. And the item description literally says 50-50, so what I'm about to say is going to fall on deaf ears. But the fact that you could use it on empty chests to create new items made it better than 50-50. It's kind of like the principle I hold true. Wait, does Seraphim get fruitcake shots as well? Maybe not. The principle that I hold true is if an item is only good 50% of the time, and the other 50% of the time it costs me something, why on earth am I taking it? Yo, though. You know, even something with a mild benefit you would expect to be better as a result of the fact that 50-50 you'd expect to be worth 0, except for the fact that you'd only use it in situations where it's appropriate. So I knew there was a risk, but I was like, you know what? It could be full health. It could be many things. So, yeah, that's an extreme bummer. And all of a sudden, my smart tinted rock play has turned into a bad play, because we, let's be real, should have taken the item from the first Demon Judgment. Yeah, I can't really be mad at the game for that one. I was for like a brief second, but I was like, I made the right play. But no, there's a spectrum of right and wrong plays there, and we made the wrong one by not taking the deal with the devil that or the Demon Judgment reward that we'd already earned. We made the wrong play there, but I was thinking we'd get all the question marks, and then we'd make a decision about whether or not we were going to go for a reroll or something like that, or a Demon Judgment play. And by Demon Judgment, I mean Crooked Penny. So this is obviously, to get Curse of the Tower out of a Curse of the Unknown red chest is basically like the worst nightmare of every Isaac player. I think, I'm like, we blew up that Demon Judgment. Is there any chance that or the regular judgment, oh my god. If there's any chance that blowing up that regular judgment could give me access to the deal that we already got, I'd be happy. But I don't know how the game determines whether or not you're going to be allowed back into a deal with the devil once a deal with the devil's already done. That being said, you know what? It gave me a chance to slow down, take a look at this run. It's the only one I got, at least for like the next 15 minutes. And be like, you know what, okay, so it's probably, my guess is a secret room. Just trying to parse out the position there. And we'll put this here. If we get some money, we might want to try to double it in order to be able to buy something from the shop easily. Totally worked. And we'll just leave. Still fine. Like, we got Roid Rage from the boss. We got Fruitcake from the item room. Both of these are, like, pretty acceptable items for us to have here. Wow, did you see that worm was crawling over what the game is telling us is an empty chasm? Unplayable. Alright, we're throwing a spear at Hardaway. It better be worth it, and by worth it, I mean not 2 bombs in the center chest, please. I can see forever's okay. Explosive diarrhea is a little dangerous, but look at that. Alright. Well, as always, the game has trolled us in an unbelievable fashion. It didn't give us 2 bombs in the center chest. It gave us 1 bomb. And as a result, I'm the fool. Balls of steel. Alright, I think this run is still fine. We just gotta get ourselves set up in a more... Oh, no, we're still good. Roid Rage is like a huge speed increase relative to the speed down, so... Dude, speaking of games that came on Windows 3.1, 95 and up, what's your favorite? I'm gonna tell you, I know there's gonna be some that are gonna come up. Solitaire's obviously a classic. Everybody's played a little bit of Windows Solitaire. You know, school ends at 2:30. You end up at grandma's house until 4 when your mom picks you up. What are you gonna do? Play some Solitaire? Dude, Curse of the Unknown? Are you kidding me? It's getting a little crazy here, isn't it? A little, of course, Space Cadet Pinball. Trying to think of what else even... I mean, Hearts, of course. Free Cell. That was like the game for intellectuals when I was a kid. It was like if you ever saw somebody playing Free Cell, you're like, oh my god, you must be like an executive or something like that. I don't even understand the rules. All I do is click the little button in the center and watch the cards go. Seems worth it to me. I don't even know what games come on. What a strange way to phrase that. I don't even know what games come on Windows now anyway by default. I know, like, I bought a laptop in, like, 2008, and it was like, do you want to play Purple Palace? No? I'm trying to avoid, like, a back in my day games on Windows were just better. But I was like, I don't know, the Purple Palace and, like, you want me to build some kind of cake here. It may well be, a lesson in not judging the book by the cover. Maybe that's, you know, I'm gonna talk bad about Purple Palace, I'm gonna get a bunch of people that are like 4 years younger than me being like, yo, don't talk about things you don't understand. Purple Palace was lit. Purple Palace went crazy. You get to the 3rd level of that cake game, it bangs, dude. You haven't even... It takes a marked tonal shift when the dinosaur starts feeding you strawberries. You know, I was thinking, like... Let me pose a baited question for you guys. Are playing cards the world's first video game console? Can't you imagine, like, when the deck of cards was invented? Be like, the Microsoft deck of cards. Play up to 30 games, including Solitaire, Texas Hold'em, Pai Gow, Blackjack, you know? It's amazing that with these 52 things you could play all of these games. And then check this out. Mod support. Make your own game. Throw the cards on the ground. Pick them up. Make a big house out of them. You could do anything. The world's your oyster. Explosive. Are there any other toys like that on Earth? Where I guess like Lego's kind of similar. Like Lego's multifaceted, right? You could build a structure out of Lego. You could build a scene out of Lego. Let's try it. Mom's bottle of pills. Well, not good. I don't even want to use that there. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Deal with the angel. It's Curse of the Unknown just leaves you in this, like, unharnessed situation. Like, I'm free climbing. Like Billy Crudup in Alien Covenant. What am I talking about? Do you guys have... Oh, this is just horrendous. Do you guys have Connects? Do Connects still exist? I know there's like, I don't want to say knockoff Lego because I don't want to get myself in like legal trouble. I don't know, maybe people will be like, Mega Bloks came first. Two Torn Photo is well worth the squeeze here. But you know, there's Mega Bloks and Brio or whatever, and you know, we had Connects when I was a kid, which was like knockoff Lego, but it was like physics-oriented knockoff Lego, which was awesome. You could make like a roller, that was like the classic Connects example. You could make a roller coaster you could put a marble into, and it had like Rube Goldberg, sort of like you could hook up an elastic band and shoot the marble somewhere. Mostly I just used it to make like an X-Wing, because it had the right kind of structure for it. Wasn't much for the physics side of things as a kid, which might surprise you if you've never seen me play any other video game ever. I was more of a talker as a kid, not so much of a builder. There we go. I have been thinking about peeping those Lego Mindstorms. I think part of getting older, and this is ticking all the boxes for a Northernlion video, part of getting older is realizing like how stupid you were when you were younger. I was lucky enough to be afforded a lot of opportunity at a relative, like I went to a school in the middle of the country, and the country I don't mean Canada, I mean like in the middle of the wilderness basically. Yo, we don't need Zodiac. Let's go for rerolls, because we'll reroll until we get either something great or Unicorn Stump. We've already had Isaac's Heart. We don't need it. We don't know. No! I didn't try to double it. I tried to turn it into a penny, which might have been worth more. So it's definitely not worth taking 2 technology 2s. Because we'll get the damage reduction both times, without a benefit the second time. It may be worth taking 1, but I doubt it. But yeah, I went to a school that, you know, it was kind of like a catch-all school for people that lived in the country, basically. You know, it wasn't a particularly affluent area, but when thinking back, I was like, or I am like, I should say, the teachers and the administration did a pretty good job of, like, they had a lot of smart kids at that school. And I'm not really talking myself up, but, you know, kids other than me were geniuses. Anyway, somehow I got lumped in with the right crowd. They would be like, okay, we got, you know, a bunch of people, and I don't say this being negative, by the way. It's gonna come across as being like, we've already been there. It's gonna come across as me using this as an insult, but it's sincerely not. But you know, you're the principal of the school, and you're like, okay, we got like 11 kids that wouldn't know what to do with a hammer unless they read the full instruction manual. Is 45 pages long. That's me. And then we got a bunch of kids who have worked, you know, on their family farm since the age of 6. And there's zero chance they're going to go to college because they already know what they're going to do with their lives. And again, I don't mean that as an insult at all. Different strokes to rule the world. I'm over here essentially providing nothing to society, and they're over there giving you your food. So, you know, you might, NL, that's not fair. You bring comfort to me. Yeah, but comfort, you can't eat comfort for dinner. I'm not saying they're better than me either. You get the idea. But anyway, so they bus in like people from the closest university, like grad students and stuff like that, to do these programs with the kids who are a little bit more on the less good with their hands, more good with their heads kind of side of things. And I totally squandered every opportunity. Like now, as a 30-year-old, I'm like, I need to borrow a child so I can go buy some Lego Mindstorms from a liquidating Toys R Us before it's gone forever without anybody judging me. As a kid, we had in 8th grade or 7th, no, it was 8th grade for sure. Not that it's relevant. We had someone come to our school for like once a week for 3 months and be like, hey, we're gonna learn how to build robots with like those early generation Lego Mindstorms. And I just never took it seriously. I was like, this is stupid. We're building a robot, and like all it does is go pick up something with a grabber and then take it to like a spot marked with black tape. What a waste, dude. Now, if I had the opportunity now, you know, Twitch was like, hey, do you want to do like a sponsored Lego Mindstorms thing? Like, you could take the day off from a normal stream, play around with these Lego Robotics. I'd be like, absolutely. 100%. Well, how much is the ask? But after that, you know, it's an easier sell than a lot of other offers that come into the inbox, so. I also remember, kids are dumb, including me when I was a kid, and probably you when you were a kid as well, unless you're one of those kids that, like, you built the Lego 3D printer that prints, like, a vaccine or something like that, in which case, quit bragging, okay? You already got your $800 grant money from the universities, like, isn't that enough for you? Well, you want some recognition too? But I remember, like, as a kid, I was always like, science class is boring. All we do is read. And then our teacher was like, oh, you guys think science class is boring, huh? Well, I'll tell you what, here's like a bunch of, I don't want to call them syringes because it sounds like it's going down a dark path, but like, here's a bunch of practical stuff. Like, here's, pneumatic tubes and hydraulic tubes and syringes, and maybe you could make like some kind of, you know, experiment with these that you could make not a robot necessarily, but you know, some kind of apparatus with these that like lets you actually do some practical science stuff with, you know, pressure and, you know, force, etc., etc., and just do like one calculation and it'll justify it. Me and my friends took the syringes and started using them to shoot water at each other, and our teacher was like, okay, project canceled, the test is on Monday. It's like, man, she's a jerk. She didn't let me use the syringes to shoot. She's got no sense of humor about it. To some extent, I am also like, what do you expect? You know, we're children. Can we get bookworm like this? I don't know, we might as well try. Cook a penny it's a little boring now. I guess Dead Sea Scrolls, as many people have told me, does not actually count as a bookworm enabler anymore, so I'm maybe getting a little ahead of myself. I really am, to some extent, I'm like, what do you expect, given a bunch of, you know, middle schoolers access to essentially water guns. But I also, you know, from the brief time that I was a teacher, I understand, you know, having a little bit too much faith in your students and then forgetting that they're actually children and being like, they're gonna behave like adults, and then you give them a privilege and they don't handle it like adults, and you're like, oh, that's right, their brain is like not even close to fully developed. They don't understand consequences for their actions to the same degree. Probably. I mean, I'm not a neurologist, so I hesitate to say stuff like that with conviction, but you get the idea. Dude, humans are messed up. And I don't mean in like the Twitter sense, you know, I mean in the sense Are we really gonna roll? Let me think about this, because I don't really want to roll AWAS if we have no chance to get the boss rush, but maybe it's okay, but like, what are we gonna do instead? We're gonna roll the Emperor? Okay, so we cannot get Bookworm by just duplicating Anarchist Cookbook over and over. If we get a Perthrow or something, though, like, that's a great room. Well, thank you for that. Like, when I say that humans are messed up, what I mean is more like... humans, I mean, we're such amazing creatures in the like, as far as we know, we're like the only creatures on Earth, or, okay, let me rephrase, because that ironically sounded very dumb. We're like the only organic life in the universe that has this level of intelligence. Like, we sprung out of the goo, and we're over here making, like, Ladybird. You know what I mean? There's no bears making Ladybird. There's no dolphin, you know, the Velvet Underground and Nico. We're making amazing stuff. Well, the dolphins haven't had a chance because they've been overfit. Okay, I know. It's not all sunshine on the human side of things. But if you look at our genetics, I'm optimistic. That's all I'm saying. If you look at our society, occasionally I do want to die or go live on Mars. But then I'm like, dude, when I go home, I'm like, the pizza's not that good here. You want to go live in a bubble? On Mars? Ain't getting any pizza. It's all going to be Tang. Anyway, I digress. Thank you. Dude, we're no chance at boss rush. But, is it ever... You look at like a horse, you know? When a horse is born... it's all messed up. It can't walk right. It's falling all over itself. And that's like an evolutionary trade-off. Like, evolution is like, I know you don't really refer to evolution as a central actor, but for the purposes of this joke, evolution is like, this is the best horse that we can spit out at birth without just absolutely eviscerating the horse mother's hip bones. So, like, what you gotta do the rest, okay? I handled it in here. Okay, well, I guess... I mean, we'll go for it. I don't think this item is maybe any good, by the way, but... if you have a lot of HP, it's easier to justify it. But then, like, you know, a year or two later, the horse is like, I'm a horse. You can ride me, and, like, you know, I jump over things, and then Steven Spielberg made a movie about me, and etc., etc. Human beings are bad for so long. Like, how long do you really get as a fully developed human being? We take way too long to ripen, and we spoil too quick. Let's go. I thought maybe 2 of these would be funnier. Like, I don't mean to sadden the situation up, right? But, like, I feel like you become a legal adult at 18, and you're still in beta at that time, to be honest with you. And if you're watching this and you're like, I'm 18 and I'm an adult. Yeah, like, legally, like, if you shot somebody, you'd probably go to jail. But, like, you still got a little ways to go, to be honest. They say, like, your brain stops developing when you're 25 or something like that. It seems about right. I feel like every year between, like, 14 and 25, I felt like I got smarter. And then after 25, I was like, I'm pretty much gonna be this dude for a long time. I think, at least. More or less. I mean, you know, you get wiser year after year, but... maybe it slows down a little bit, but anyway. So, you know, let's just say, like, the first 20 years of your life, you're still kind of like, you're in beta, you know? Version under 0.1, or version under 1.0, that's what I mean to say. See? I'm starting to spoil. And then, you get, like, a variable amount of years before you start having to worry about, like, neurodegenerative disorders, you know, like dementia and stuff like that. So it's really like the first, let's say, let's be fair, like the first 18 years of your life. What the heck? You're kind of like, you don't have a full toolbox. You know, you get that full toolbox when you get older. Whatever the toolbox is filled with, you know, varies from person to person. For whatever reason, for me, it's filled with the entire script of David O. Russell's 2004 film I Heart Huckabees. But for you, it might be like, you know, how to build something. It's up to you which one you consider to be a more practical skill, I suppose. I don't even know what I'm doing with Omega Penny at this point. I'm just like, it's a showcase. And then, like, after the age of, let's say, like, after the age of 70, you start to spoil a little bit. And I'm not gonna say I'm getting there. It's still a decent way away, but it's not, it seems unfair, dude. Like, as a human being, you might live on the planet. Let's say you live to be 80. You know, you get, like, almost 20 years at the front end, where you're not quite, you know, you're playing at a disadvantage, and they get another maybe 10 years at the back end, hopefully less. Or hopefully more, depending on your perspective, I guess. But, where, you know, people are like, they look at you and they go, I hope that guy's not getting behind the wheel, whether fair or otherwise. So now, you only get, if you live 80 years, you only really get, like, 50, where you're, like, a fully fledged, like, you're a competitor. That's rough. It's like your lifespan is, like, compromised on either end. Human beings, we should get good faster. This is a bold statement. We should get good faster and stay good longer. Are there any scientists out there working on this? Has anybody thought of this idea? Yeah, all of them is the answer to that question. Wow. That was not smart. I'm not saying that everybody over the age of 70 is mentally compromised. It's also very not fair to say that everybody under the age of 18 or 20, or especially 25, is, you know, compromised to a permanent end. I'm just saying, you know, if you're a genius at 16, what you should be, and you're watching this video, first off, he thinks the Lady Adultbirth, that's too much. Secondly, you shouldn't take it as an insult, like NL's calling me stupid because of my age. No. What you should be taking away from that is if you're already smart at 16, you're going to be a freaking genius at 25. Congratulations. Enjoy that. And if you're watching this and you're 26 and you're still waiting for the genius genes to kick in, I feel you, dude. you and me both. Joker. Yeah, let's do it. We need something here. Okay, this is... You start to build... a foundation here. I actually think we probably want to actually take the nail. Oh, right. Never mind. See you later. Thank God we got Curse of the Tower. Oh, forget the nail, dude. Take Guppy's head. I think I'd rather have Guppy's head guaranteed than use Crooked Penny. Like, Crooked Penny, I just don't know where you go. Like, what's your upside at this point? We go to the chest, and occasionally you're going to double a good item that is probably... Like, we're not really in a position to say, like... You know, we should reroll, or not reroll, but try to double a good item. We need a good item. Our damage, and I want to point out, I very much do not want to be known as the guy who just complains while playing the Binding of... Well, I'm no game designer, but coming from a position of authority, here's the changes I'd make to the game. It's more like I hate the variance and the fact that we still have 4.43 damage at this point of the game. Now, NL, that's not fair. You could have changed your damage. You could have lowered it substantially by taking Tech 2. Once or twice. That's true. And actually, there is an extremely fair criticism, which is I missed out on that free Deal with the Devil item. By taking a pill that... I mean, we've been aware of the potential danger of telepills forever. And moreover, you know... Wow, that's just incredibly bad luck. Moreover, I understand as well that we probably shouldn't have taken one little Harbinger, much less two. But you also got to accept... Sure, that's actually really good. We almost never see Transcendence, so... Surprised we've seen it before, to be honest. The thing is, like, I kind of wanted to have an Isaac run in which we took items. We hit, like, 12 item rooms that provided us with spacebar items we didn't want. So, I did feel a certain pressure to, you know, like, actually... I'm just gonna try AWAS. To actually get something, like, half decent. Something interesting, at least. But we've now found ourselves in the part of the run where, you know, it's not really encouraging because I find myself being, like, making up plausible reasons for why this run is probably not going to work. And what we should be doing is trying to come up with a strategy for how to make it work. And so far, I got 3 words written down on a piece of paper in front of me. It says, don't get hit. Don't get hit. Easier said than done. He's done it. Okay. So we've already seen our deal. Didn't we pop a Joker card on this floor? Yeah, it was the Demon Judgment and the Guppy's Head. Okay. So not getting a deal right now is not that bad. Get away from me, exploding fly. Not getting a deal is not that bad because we'll have a better chance of getting a deal on the next floor, maybe. And, I mean, that's kind of tempting, but I think you gotta go with, like, Guppy's Head here and expect that it's gonna give you a better expected value. We have 100%. This is not gonna last, by the way, this 100% chance, but if we have 100%, yep, there it goes. I think that means if we survive the floor, at least, what we actually have is like a 36% chance if we don't get hit on the boss. If we get hit on the boss, we'll have 1%, which obviously not quite as good. And by not quite as good, I mean 36%. 36 times worse. Alright, well, on the bright side, the reason I wanted to do that room is because of what ended up happening, which is we got a decent amount of flies, but, you know, the flies, I think it's fairly clear, are already pretty much exhausted. So there is full red heart, and I'll go to the cursed room. Half red heart, I don't think I can justify it. If we can start to build something a little stronger here, I'd be happy. And be wary, by the way. I'm going to defend the game a little bit. You've been watching these Isaac episodes lately, you're probably... Well, I don't know, I won't put words in your mouth. But you might be thinking, you know, all these booster pack items, it's what NL's been talking about. They're kind of ruining the run, ruining the game to some extent. You know, diluting items that are necessary with items that are cool. Your mileage may vary when it comes to that, but, you know, we still have plenty of runs that are cool and actually good. The only thing is they haven't happened lately. So definitely, like, definitely my perception right now is that, like, you know, we've been kind of getting screwed. But it is tough to make that criticism when you've been making mistakes as well. So, you know, I'm not going to hold it against the game. Who knows if you get that... Maybe we get a little Brim from that Demon Judgment on the first deal with the Devil floor. That's not really like an over expectation. Like that's a relatively, maybe like slightly above average payout from a Demon Judgment for sure, but it's not like it's a 1 in 100 sort of thing. So, you know, that could have definitely changed the tone of this run. You get the little Brim as a result of little Brim. You don't take so much damage. Maybe that opens you up to one more deal with the Devil or deal with the Angel, and on that, you know, the game, it's a game of aggregate dice rolls, more or less. And we've been playing with without a full Yahtzee cup as a result of some earlier mistakes. But it's also plausible that the run could still be Trash City after doing all that, but at least then we'd be coming from a more defensible position. Justice. Well, HP's alright. You know, it is very tempting to go to the cursed room. Ooh. Got some interesting connotations. The consequence. Well, I don't know. We've got an interesting room here. Oh, never mind. It's 3 cents. Another change I would make to Isaac more on the minor side. I feel like crawl spaces should always have an item in them. Like, items are not necessarily that good. On average, they'll improve your run. But crawl spaces show up so rarely that getting 3 pennies in them is just a slap in the face. Also feel like black markets should show up more commonly. Like, what percentage of crawl spaces are actually black markets? 10% maybe? I'm not saying make it 50. Okay, we did get a deal. We absolutely have to take it. And now we will definitely go to our curse room, because to become Guppy would be a huge positive here. I can't believe we almost made boss Hush fight, which we Probably wouldn't have done, but might consider, considering our financial situation. Plan C, huh? Plan C does not work unless you have Lazarus rags, which we had the opportunity to take advantage of, but chose not to because Lazarags is not that good, and moreover, it's not like we expected Plan C to show up. Okay, so we're up to the Cathedral. The run is acceptable. I mean, again, I don't want to be like Mr. Complainy, but our tier effects are pretty good. We're one item away from becoming Guppy, but our DPS is not amazing. It's like borderline. Like, if it was in my class, I'd give it, like, probably a D. Don't take that the wrong way. And I'd be like, you know, you gotta work harder if you really want to succeed in this Isaac universe, because it's really 5.64 plus a 7 rate of fire is like, that's what I'd expect second week of the semester. You're demonstrating it here on the final. It's clear you haven't done your due diligence. You know, you haven't done your coursework. Plus, you're under the age of 25 or over the age of 70, so I don't like you. As me getting out ahead of any criticism from a misanthropic standpoint that could arise. This is an extremely important room. Important because we really don't want to get hit. And also important because could have gotten some more spirit hearts there. We got 2, which is still good, but looking for something a little extra there. Not overly cheesed yet, but it is the second time we got telefragged on this run. First time was by that self-sacrifice chest, which just opened up like dead center of the room, and I went, really? Second time's via a ghost. That's like one of the ghost's best abilities, so I'm not gonna say you can't use it, but at the same time, it's starting to add up. It's starting to really cheese me off. Pardon my French. Speed down. One makes you small. Well, we don't have much benefit to keeping a speed up pill. I think in terms of good luck on this run, our consumables have been reasonably lucky. You know, we've gotten a Hierophant card or 2, a Balls of Steel pill for sure. Enough to keep us alive, at least, as we've kind of meandered our way towards what appears to be a relatively okay chance of victory. Yeah, there we go. Just work your way into the center there, do some actual damage. We want as many holy light shots as possible, and we wouldn't mind if our harbingers stood over top of the boss. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how Mom's heart melted so fast, so quickly. Is that one or both of the harbingers was standing on top? They sort of got the right idea. Oh, so the harbinger's right there, but when it spits a fly, it spits it right next to my hitbox. Unplayable. These devs don't even know what they're talking about. Oh, you're very lucky. Get out of your exploding fly. My lord. Give me a Joker card that allows me to become Guppy, and I will forever hold my silence about this run being a little wonky. Parasite's cool. Onk, hopefully not necessary. Little Brim, hey, I was just talking about you. Were your ears burning? Probably because you shoot a bloody laser out of your mouth. But anyway, Onk, holy water. We know our pills, largely. We don't dislike them. Let's get a move on here. Parasite Fruitcake in the heart of our Isaac run. Thanks to Omega Coin. Okay, but Parasite Fruitcake is a little dangerous, and also their new album is fire. Parasite Fruitcake, you know, they could explode in our face, if you know what I mean. I would prefer to at least be notified first. Curse of Darkness. This is like, again, you want to talk about your brain spoiling a little bit? I'm looking at the floor. This is how much I've played Isaac, is the alternative way to introduce this. I'm looking at this floor and I'm like, oh, something's different about it. What's up? I check the curse. Oh, that's right. I can't see anything. That's it. I need the game to tell me what my brain is experiencing. Ah, Curse of Darkness. Well, Hematemesis is actually not good for us yet, but if we find a second secret room, which is plausible thanks to I Can See Forever, this could be the sort of thing that we can leverage for a win if we don't have the win already sewn up, which is, you know, to be honest, I just don't know. We should really get in the habit of shooting Little Brim. It's by far our best damage dealer. Unfortunately, it's also, like, substantially deeper in our... Oh, my lord, Fruitcake. Substantially lower in our order of familiars, so it's kind of far away. Oh, Daddy Longlegs is okay. We're almost approaching that, like, prototypical 9 lives use case where you're like, this is why 9 lives is good. It's because, you know, as long as you can beat the boss without getting hit 10% of the time, you're probably going to be able to get a win out of it. And that's kind of where we're at right now. Daniel Day-Lewis helps out a great deal. That's my little pet name for Daddy Longlegs, even though they don't totally share initials. We've been over this many times. Tiny Planet's just it's gonna make this run extremely interesting as we approach the either the climax or the nadir, depending on our end result. We can fly, so just don't worry about creep too much. 100%, this has to be the right way. Man, yeah, Little Brim, I'm not gonna say it's bad, but it's kind of useless when it's held this far down in the lineup. We need to promote this buddy to the first line here. He's not a checking line center that you can just throw in 7 or 8 minutes a night and expect him to have an impact, you know? It totally worked. Wow. It totally worked. We got 1 demon heart out of it. What an incredible turn of events. This is the perfect situation, is like, because we want to fire in the opposite direction for Tiny Planet. If we can get Little Brim to also shoot in the proper direction because it's so far back in the rotation, we've refactored our weaknesses as strengths. And as a result, you will not be able to defeat us. There we go. Hey, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.